Hello guys, it's nice to be here again. I know it's been a long time, but well, here I am, and I hope we make the best use of this time. Also what had discouraged me is the fact that I'm giving quality content, but the number of subscribers was not really impressing. Okay, so when I don't receive more people joining my channel or subscribing again, I also somehow feel like a little bit of discouraged. I'll be like, now, what's the point? But yeah, thank you for all who have tried to promote my channel here and there. I'm very glad. Yeah, but feel free to share it with anyone whom you feel like they deserve a better future in forex trading. Okay, yeah. Otherwise, if you're new to this channel, please kindly like, subscribe, ring the bell button, and then we shall go right into the analysis. Now today I come, guys, to give us a hint of what we should expect in this coming week. We've seen previously, actually since the year started, we've been in a very strong bullish momentum for gold. Okay, so it is very evident on monthly that we are very bullish. That is evidenced by the bullish candles that we are seeing consistently. And now when we drop to the weekly, guys, I saw the same thing. We are still bullish, but if I may highlight a few things about our weekly time frame, if we could go back to a little bit of history, we had a momentum right here. This was momentum for which we had an entry right here. Okay, and then price continued to make new momentum, as explained for those people who have been or those who have watched my previous videos on this channel, that whenever price comes to a re-entry after it has made momentum, we expect price to make a new momentum still in the same direction. So our expectation is to see a new momentum right here. Okay, because price is just the same story as what we saw right here. We saw that price made momentum, came for a re-entry, again made momentum, came for a re-entry. So we're expecting it to either make momentum again, or else if it fails, we expect it to break the mid BB. And we know that once it breaks that, that means now change of direction. Okay, but for now we are still positive. We are looking at the bullish momentum. Okay, so if we might do a little just to awaken our minds, when we had momentum right here for that was made last month. Okay, and now when the new month came in, we had price come at the re-entry. So if you move down to lower time frame, okay, because this is weekly, for example, if we want to analyze or understand what was happening in that place there, like we're trying to do what we call back testing. It is important because it sharpens our skill. Okay, it becomes easier for us to recognize patterns and understand what to do. So it trains our mind. Okay, so that is the importance of back testing. So we see that on a weekly we had a re-entry, and that is R. Okay, if weekly was to be taken as our time frame 1, and then now on time frame 2 we are having an extreme buy. Actually, this is a setup. I'll be discussing it more in details. If you guys make me happy, I'll be discussing. This is called the diamond setup. Okay, it has conditions and criteria that you should follow to see that you get a perfect setup. Okay, yeah. So in our time frame 2 we have gotten an extreme. Right, that is an extreme. So in other words, time frame 1, which was weekly, is R, and then time frame 2 is E, that is extreme. Okay, so for those who don't know the kind of extreme is, you could go back to my previous videos. I described all the types of extremes in details. Actually, I did it in details. So if we continue to time frame 3, we notice that the area that we circled, okay, our entry or our extreme in the higher time frame, actually it made another extreme right here. Okay, if I may show you right here, price made an extreme, okay, and then it broke the mid BB. Now this was a signal that price is actually ready to move up. You know, we say that CSAK, it gives us a hint, okay, that price is ready to change direction. Okay, remember, we are already biased from our weekly time frame that we are having a entry on the weekly, and also we have seen an extreme on our time frame 2. Now our time frame 3 here is giving us a CSD. Okay, now this is a clear sign that market is now really ready to respond to what we saw on the higher time frame. Okay, so that is the reason as to why when price came here, it actually came back when it made the CSAK or the CSD. You know, CSD is the same thing as CSAK. For those who been following, they know, or those who are experienced with BBMA. Yeah, so we are saying that price came right here and made a re-entry. Okay, so after it had made a momentum, okay, a direction, this was a hint on direction that price is ready to go up. It came for entry. Now our point here would be waiting for this point here. This now would be our entry area or our entry point. Okay, so this is where we'll be analyzing or filtering them all to enter in order for us to ride this uptrend, as you saw. Okay, so in general, last week has been a good one. Price has been, for my case, it has been a good one because it has been a clear structure to me. Though price has been in a kind of a consolidation. How do I tell that it is a consolidation? It is very clear that price is actually horizontal. Okay, so whenever price is making horizontal movement, that is an indication that price is not trending. You get, price is not trending if our BB, outer BB are flat. Okay, actually even the middle. All right, yeah, but for my case, as I'll be teaching you guys, whenever I see a consolidation, especially in higher time frames, for example H4, you know, daily, and yeah, it makes me happy. Right, but BBMA is not the best at trading you know, horizontal movements or consolidations. However, the one thing you should know is that what you're seeing as a consolidation, for example, in daily time frame, in a lower time frame, it is an expanded structure. For example, you can see this area here. We've been consolidating. Let's drop down to lower time frame and see what was happening. For example, if we went to H4, you can see that price has been making clear structures. You know, it has been, for example, it has been, you know, made a CSAK, it came for entry, made another momentum, came for entry like that, made an extreme, made another CSAK buy, came for entry, and then we raided the what? and then we rated the trend upwards. You get upwards, you know, momentum, re-entry, momentum, re-entry. So to me, I can assure you that it has been a really good week for me because of the success rate that was involved in it. Okay, so today, to be brief, to cut the video short, I want us to see what should we expect for this coming week, right? So as we saw, the price made momentum right here. Okay, price made momentum, and we're saying that whenever we have momentum, we should expect price to come for a re-entry. Indeed, it came for a re-entry as we had expected, and price reacted upwards. Right now, you will notice that price has not yet made new momentum, but that is our expectation. We're expecting this coming week price to make a buy momentum to continue the trend, right? Or else, if it fails to make the buy momentum, obviously it will have to break the lower BB, and whenever it breaks the lower BB, we know that price is actually changing direction. Okay, so depending on what we shall see on this coming week, then that's when we shall decide. However, for now, we are still positive that price is going in for the buy momentum, right? So if we moved to lower time frames, for example, to understand the bigger picture that we've seen in a weekly time frame, what we see is that price made initially we had momentum, came for entry, but then it did not make new momentum right here, but instead it broke the mid BB. Okay, and now when it breaks the mid BB, what do we expect? We expect price to either be looking for a higher time frame re-entry, or else price is coming, you know, to make an extreme. Okay, the third thing that we should expect whenever we see a mid BB break is change of direction. So those are the three things that you should always expect whenever you see the mid BB break. All right, now to simplify life, we saw that this extreme was for, like, price broke this mid BB because it was looking for the higher time frame re-entry, which we filtered previously, and now price made again momentum. All right, and then it came right here at the re-entry. Okay, it came at the re-entry and continued making. Now this is what we call CSA, right? Price is trying to make momentum to the upside, but it has not broken the Bollinger Band, the outer Bollinger Band. So if price has not broken the outer Bollinger Band, but still has broken the MA510 low or high, then that is what we call CSA. Okay, CSA. It is also a signal which you could consider to buy or sell for those who are. I think I shall also be taking you that deeper as we continue together, right? I'll be taking you that deeper also to understand how to trade such a setup, all right? But this you can also consider as a buy momentum, all right? Now, if we are considering this as our buying signal, okay, or our buy momentum, that means now if price came back to this point, this becomes now our re-entry. All right, so this is a re-entry buy for for daily. All right, so in other words, our daily is telling us that for this coming week we should expect something like a re-entry. Now there are two possibilities. Remember, first of all, the Bollinger Band is horizontal. Chances are that we can even have a re-entry at the mid BB, okay, or even price can choose to come and meet the EMA 50. Okay, however, for now we can see clearly that EMA 50 is below the price, and that means that we should be in looking for buys, right? Buys, because price is above the EMA 50. All those signals are just to strengthen us, like to confirm more the bias that we should have about the market. Okay, so we continue to see that considering this re-entry, if we try to filter it down, the one thing you should not forget is that the Bollinger Bands are horizontal. Alright, and when the Bollinger Bands are horizontal, it always means that price is in consolidation. So for the coming week, you should be a little bit careful. Okay, careful. As a matter of fact, we even have the CPI and PPI, so hopefully by the end of that week we shall be clear about the direction. Okay, so what do we see in our time frame? As I told you guys, that whenever we are having momentum, price came for entry, we expect new momentum. However, it didn't happen. Price instead made an extreme sell. Okay, now this extreme sell indicates that price wants to go for sells. Okay, and the CSK sell confirmed that. Okay, confirmed that we are ready to go in for bears. Okay, so all we had to do is to wait for a re-entry, and when price came at the re-entry sell, it melted down. Now the question is, price made a CSK sell. What should we think of? Because now price made CSK sell and came and made an extreme buy, which is contradicting the extreme sell. Should we expect to sell or to buy? Okay, now the trick here is very simple. BBMA is a multi-time frame based strategy. Okay, so if you use multiple time frames, you can easily filter out what we call false signals. You get? For example, it is a clear view from that us having or price failing to make a momentum here, or showing us an extreme sell signal. This price was indicating that it is now going in for the higher time frame re-entry. In other words, we're expecting, for us initially we're expecting momentum and then price to come maybe for re-entry and go, but now the re-entry failed. Okay, making it a new CSK sell coming for re-entry like that. Now this means now price is here for the what? For the re-entry. But then the issue is price again is making momentum, because now if in the daily we are having a re-entry sell, I mean a re-entry buy, okay, yet in the H4 we are seeing momentum sell. What do we then do? Now for such a case, even though we had an extreme buy in time frame 3, okay, we should not go for it. That is a trap. That is a trap. All the time frames must be aligning. In other words, what I'm trying to say is we must have a code, a complete code for us to think of entering the market. Okay, because now if we are seeing a momentum right here, okay, this means now that price is still, sellers are still mob in the what? In the market. So we have to wait for a clear signal that indeed the sellers are now quitting. Okay, then now that's the time now that we can enter. Okay, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that we should wait for extreme. This is now our time frame 2, because we are doing the daily re-entry. Okay, so if price is to go above, okay, if price is to go above this point, we should first experience an extreme here in our time frame 2 to confirm that price is ready for buy. Now when we receive that extreme, we should also receive either an extreme in the third time frame or MLV. Okay, but there's also a chance of us getting MLV in this very time frame. Okay, in time frame 2, because now price As you can see, price is heading down, made momentum. There is a chance that price could make the extreme, okay, makes the extreme, and then comes back like this, okay, to make MLV, and then after that we shall be sure that the moment price makes the CSAK, okay, like this, then we shall be very sure that yeah, now we are ready to go in for buys. Okay, so our aim is just only to wait for price to come at the re-entry, and then we ride the uptrend. Okay, just like that. You get that? But then still, if price fails this from this extreme, that means now it will continue making the sell momentum in H4, that is our time frame 2, and as long as we are seeing momentum in time frame 2, we should not dare enter that market for buys. All right, unless you're trying to trade counter trend. Okay, but that I advise for only experts to do that. All right, so in case price still fails to make extreme in our time frame 2, that will mean now that price will continue downwards. Okay, price will be instead continuing downwards, so we shall have something like this. So the chance would be price would come either to meet BB or to meet our EMA 50. So what am I trying to say? That always entering, we should have confirmation. A complete code is a best way to ensure that we are in at the right time. Okay, we are in at the right time. Otherwise, the video is becoming too long. For now, I can stop here, but I've just given you a hint of what we should expect in this coming week. I wish you all the best trading week. Enjoy. Kindly like and subscribe for those who have not yet. I love you all.